Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing another video in my end of the year declutter series. The products we're going to be focusing on today are primers, concealers, and foundations. So if you want to see what all I have in my collection, what I decide to hang on to, what I decide to toss, be sure to stay tuned. I'm also going to be swatching a lot of these products and giving you reviews of all of them as well. So this is a good time for like an in-depth collection video where I can give you like a lot of feedback on products that you may have not seen here. If you are curious about more declutter videos, I will link the playlist below for my 2024 declutters. And yeah, I think that is it. Before we get started though, I would appreciate if you would go down and hit that thumbs up button. It really helps my channel, and I just want to make sure you don't forget at the end of the video. But yes, without further ado, let's go through it. Okay, so here's everything I think. I thought it would be cool to do the toss bit at the beginning, and now I'm like, wow, everything's all together, nothing is sorted, so I kind of hate that. That being said, I'm going to try to kind of go in categories, but if I miss one, oh, you see why. All right, since SPF flew out, we're going to start with SPF. I have facial SPFs that I consider more as like a primer because that's usually, if I'm going to use them, they're going to be my glowy primer. So the first one I have is from Laneige, and it's the Hydro U Defense SPF 50 Plus, and I really love this. It wears really well under makeup. It is a bit thicker, but it absorbs into the skin really well, so the thickness doesn't bother me. I don't get a white cast. It's long lasting and doesn't break up my makeup. So I am going to hang on to this because I do really enjoy it. This is another SPF from Herbivore. It is their Star Seed SPF 30. And I'm going to declutter this. This is a mineral sunscreen, and I just find they don't work well for me. They struggle to sit on my skin. They just like break up and peel and get all gritty and yucky. So if you're someone who likes a mineral SPF, you may enjoy this, but I did not. So I'm going to declutter this one. Next up, I have the Dermatology. I don't know how they pronounce this, but is their Universal Tinted Moisturizer in SPF 46. I absolutely love this, and I use it so much in the summer for a like all over just light base. It gives you the most beautiful tint, and this might look really dark, but it's actually not. It like really adheres to the skin really well, like when you're lighter or when you're darker, and I really love that about it. It has a great dry down. It gives you like the most beautiful glow that is just so like sun-kissed goddess. I freaking love it. And the SPF protection is so good. Like, I've worn this in Florida before and not even reapplied, and I did not get a burn. Like, this is incredible sunscreen. I love this. I'm not decluttering it. The next SPF we have is from Free. This is SPF 36. I like this, but it's not my favorite. I find that this one does make me a little bit oily by the end of the day. When I wear it under makeup, I just get a little bit too dewy, but it does sink in really nice. It doesn't have a white cast, and it lays really great under the makeup. It just gets too dewy for me after time, so like I wouldn't repurchase this, but I am going to keep it because it's in my project pan, and like it's almost done, so I'm going to hang on to it. Okay, I think that's all of my SPFs. I do have a replacement of the It Cosmetics one, but it's in my replacement drawer because it's not open yet, and I want to finish like this one before I open that one. So yeah, we're going to move to the next category, which let's do primers since we're in that era. The first one is from What's Up Beauty. It is their Positivity Lightweight. Why is my camera not like focusing? It's driving me nuts. The Lightweight Hydrating Face Primer. This is just, in the summer, it is way too hydrating for me. Like, it was just way too dewy. So I tried it this winter because I was like, okay, maybe this will be great now. And it did work a lot better for me now that my skin is drier during this time of year. However, it's just kind of finicky. And what I mean by that is, like, sometimes it will peel, sometimes it won't. And I really just don't have time for makeup that isn't going to consistently perform at a like top tier, because I don't have time to take it off and start over, and I don't have the patience to. So I am going to go ahead and declutter this primer. Next up, I have the Benefit Professional Primer. This is the original one, and I was sent this in friend mail, and I have not tried this in like over a decade, and I really found myself loving it. I feel like everyone's tried it, and it's a cult classic, yada, yada, yada. But I've really found myself loving this product this time around, so I am going to hang on to it. Next up is a new to me primer. It is from Peace Out Skincare, and it's a like mattifying product, and I have not tried it. I got it from Skeepers. It literally just came today. And you put it on your oily areas before makeup to mattify. So like I'm going to use it on my T-zone. So since I obviously haven't tried it yet, I'm going to hang on to it, but I'm very intrigued by this. Next up, I have the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Primer. This is so good. I love this. I love the way that it sits on the skin, the way that it feels on the skin, and the way that it lays under my makeup. This is definitely my favorite like mattifying, blurring primer of the year. So definitely hanging on to this. I also have the Smashbox Photo Finish Correct Anti-Redness Primer. This is fabulous. I love this. It's like green to color correct redness, which I have a lot of. And this does a fabulous job of that. And it sinks into my skin really, really well and provides a nice base for makeup application. And I know in some of my Get Ready With Me's, I have shown like before and after, and you can see, or at least I think you can see, a pretty significant difference in the decrease in redness. So I'm definitely gonna hang on to this one. Next up is from Benefit. It is their Do La La, and this was their highlighter, and I got the shade Nova, which is medium tan. So like that's not gonna work for me as a highlighter. So I was using it as like a primer / bronzing drop, and it did work well for that purpose. But I just found it to be a lot more effort than I'm personally willing to give for makeup. I think that if it was my full-time job, I would be a lot more willing to like mix and do personalized curations and all of that, because then I could just have time to have fun and to play with makeup. But I don't. I have like a 9 to 5, or I guess I should say a 7 to 3. So in the morning, I just want to put on what works, what matches. I don't want to do a bunch of mixing, and I want to get out the door. So I'm going to let this one go. I'm going to declutter this. I just think someone else would enjoy it a lot more. Next up, we have the Dior Forever Glow Star Filter. I have the shade 0, and I'm really excited. I think I'm going to be able to break this out here pretty soon. It is, like I said, the shade 0, so it is pretty light. Yeah, you can see how light that is. Beautiful product though, and I am excited to try it. I think it's like a bit thicker than like the e.l.f. Halo Glow, and I don't think, I got this as a gift, but I don't think that I would repurchase it. I think I like the e.l.f. Halo Glow better, but I do think that it is very pretty. The finish is pretty. It lays well on the skin, and the packaging is just so luxurious. Like, it is so heavy, so gorgeous. So I love that about it. Definitely going to hang on to this one. Let's do my eye primers super quick because I only have 3. I have the NYX Glitter Primer. Absolutely love this stuff. It helps a lot with any kind of fallout for shimmer shades, or if you just want your shade to be next level, more impactful, this is what I always use. The other one is the Ulta Beauty Matte Eye Primer. This is so good. I love this. It has like just a subtle amount of tint. So if you're like looking for, I know some people like when their eye primers have just a skosh of coverage. This definitely provides that bit of coverage, as you can see there. And my eyeshadow lays beautifully under it. I don't have any creasing or anything like that. And this, like, you can get this for like $6 on sale. Like, this is so good. This is my new holy grail. I will repurchase this. I have one from Alter Ego, and I think that this is okay. It's a lot thinner of a formula, and it's much more like brightening. I was sent this on friend mail, and I think I will be able to like use it up. Like, I like it well enough to use it up, but I would not go out of my way to like repurchase it. If I was picking, I would definitely pick the Ulta Beauty one. But yeah, I am going to keep all three of these. Next up, I have the Makeup Forever Pore Minimizer Primer. This just is so mid for the price. It's just really, it didn't wow me. And this is like one of those pore filling primers that like has that really, like, it doesn't look like it would right there. Actually, I don't know why that looks so runny. Usually it's more like, it feels just like chalky and dry. Like, I really just don't like the texture. And in forms of blurring, I think that it does okay. Like, I don't think that it's bad, but I think that the Huda and the Professional are easily superior. They're so much better. So I would rather use these that I love than reach for this that I think is very mid. So I'm going to declutter this. Okay, next up is the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. And what is crazy about this is I had a big jar of this and I did not like it. I actually decluttered it because I thought it was pretty overhyped and mine had like a gross smell. And now I'm starting to think that maybe the one I had was expired. Like, I was sent a bad one because I recently got this. And it's like a mini, as you can see. And it smells so good. It smells like very citrusy. It smells so good. And it feels so like thick and luxurious and hydrating on the skin. I was like, oh, this is what people talk about when they say it's a cult classic and they love it. This is the formula. So I definitely think the one I had before was not good because this is so good. So I'm hanging on to this. I also have the N-Beauty Face Glaze. This is their highlighting gel cream. I've used this as like a highlighter, and then I also use it as like an all-over primer. I think that it's fairly lightweight, provides a nice glow. I definitely think this is one that is overhyped though, and it's one where I would again purchase the e.l.f. Halo Glow over this. So, I mean, I obviously have like two pretty big glowy primers to finish, but it's definitely, I wouldn't repurchase these. I would pick up the e.l.f. one, but I'm going to keep it because I have it and it's like fine. Next up is the REM Beauty Blurring Primer. I did like this when I tried it, and I still think it's okay. I just think it's one that, again, is a skosh finicky. It has that, like, same texture as the Huda Beauty one, but this one is a little bit thicker / has more grip than the Huda one, and because of that, it just needs more time to dry down. If you go in super, like, too soon after you've applied this, all of your makeup will get picked up. It'll pick it all up. So this is just one that is nice if you do it right, but it can be a little bit tricky. So I think for me, I'm going to just stick with the other two that I have, and I'm going to declutter this one. Next up is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion. I think that this is so good. I have the shade, I don't remember, but it is the light one. Yeah, I guess it doesn't say on here. Oh, right there, Jesus. Light. 902 light. I have the light one. And this is really beautiful. I love it as an all-over base before I go in with makeup. It does have like a very subtle tint, subtle glowy tint, as you can see. and I think that it provides like a nice sheer tint to the skin. I know some people wear it as a foundation. It does not have nearly enough coverage for me to do that, but I think it is really great as a glowy primer, and especially if you're someone who likes a sheer or light coverage foundation, this would provide just a touch more coverage in the priming stage before you went in with the like foundation or tint you're gonna use. And yeah, I really like it. It lays very nicely under my makeup, very glowy, very comfortable, super lightweight. So yeah, I'm hanging on to this. Okay, I think that is all of the primers. I want to go into dewdrops because I have a couple. I have the Milani Conceal and Perfect, and then I have the Drunk Elephant De-Bronzy. Both of these are super hyped up and like people love bronzing drops, but back to the fact that like I just don't use them. I don't have time for them. Again, I think that they're a great product if you have time to do that, or if you're someone who just does like bronzing drops in lotion and that's all you like to wear, then I think yes. But like that step would be, you know, there'd be no purpose of that for me because I'm gonna do like a full beat on top of it. So yeah, for that reason, absolutely nothing wrong with these, but I'm decluttering them. Let's go into powder. I have a couple. So right now I have open the Huda Beauty Pound Cake is the shade I have open of the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Bake Setting Powder. I actually recently just finished 2 of these. And then I also have the Cherry Blossom one. That's all I have left of that one. I do have, I think, 2 replacements of this and 1 replacement of this. So I do have more of these. They're my holy grail. I love them. So absolutely they are not going to go anywhere. I also have the One Size powder. This is their Ultra Pink is what it's called. Let's see here. And I don't like this. I wonder if you'll be able to see what I'm talking about here. This powder is just very like chunky and cakes together. Like when you dip your, you know, sponge or puff in there, you've got to grind it out on your hand really well to break up all of the chunks. Otherwise, it just leaves splotches all over your face. And I don't think like the actual powder itself is bad. I just don't think it's pressed finely enough for what I like and what I'm used to. And I'm not going to reach for this over the Huda ones because it's just not as good. So I'm going to declutter this. I also have the Lottie London. This is their brightening pink powder. And this is very finely milled. Very up my alley. This is great for setting like the under eyes. I don't think it's as good as a setting powder for all over the face, whereas this is good for quite literally everywhere. I think this is just great under the eyes, and I really like it, so I'm going to keep it. And then I have one pressed powder, and it's from Rare Beauty in the shade Porcelain. This is very brightening and holds true to its claim of a finishing powder, because it really, in my opinion, does nothing. It does nothing. I don't think this has like any kind of purpose in my collection because it provides nothing to my makeup routine. It's like I'm literally just like dusting something on my face for no reason. And I thought initially, I was like, oh, maybe this is going to be a really great touch-up powder. No, it doesn't even do that. It can't even soak up. It can't soak up enough oil to be a touch-up powder. And the finishing effect is like not any more blurring than the original effect that I get with the Huda powder. So to me, it's just useless. So yeah, I'm decluttering this. Okay, that is all for powder. Let's do, I just have 2 setting sprays. And actually, okay, so this is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush. This is like all I have left of it. It's almost gone. I used to really love this, but it just doesn't do for me what it used to do for me. I don't know what it is, but it just does not hold my makeup in place like when I had it previously. So I'm not going to repurchase this, but I am going to finish it. It's close to gone, so I'm going to keep it. I also have this, which is a depotted one from the e.l.f. Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. This mister is so worthless. The mist is so fine that it's not even effective. I have to be 2 inches from my skin and I have to pump it a million times. It is beyond annoying. So when I emptied this setting spray, I just depotted it into here, and I don't know, it's like down in here. It's almost empty. But performance-wise, I don't think that this is that good, like literally at all. So I would not recommend it. I don't think it does anything for my makeup. It is one that is very hydrating, but like overly so. Like it is dewy. It is not going to hold your makeup in place at all. And I guess I thought there would be some of those properties since we have like the Power Grip here, but there definitely is not. So this one just was not for me. But like I said, it's almost gone, so I'm keeping it. It's almost gone. Okay, that's it for setting spray. So let's get into like concealers. I have just a handful here. Okay, so this is technically not a concealer. It is a corrector. It's the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Corrector in the shade Peach. I love this. I think I have a backup, but maybe I don't. But I will repurchase when it's gone. I love this corrector. It actually corrects, and it also is very like lightweight on the skin, and concealer goes over it beautifully. It doesn't create a more like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't create like more texture or make it like thicker under there. It just like blends in and soaks into the skin beautifully. So love this, definitely keeping it. Next up, I have the Armani concealer, and this is in the shade 5, which is a really great shade for me during like the summer and into the transition months. Mine, as you can see, does not have a stopper in it because when it had a stopper, I could not get anything out. I would have to dip in like 5 or 6 times to get anything to come out on that doe foot. So at the end of the day, I would not recommend this. But the shade in the undertone is really, really nice. I think the formula of this is good as well. It's a very like, I want to say like light height coverage because I think it's very medium to full, but it's closer to full. I'm also very underwhelmed with the packaging. It's like cheap plastic. There's no markings on the front saying what it is. So for the price point, I think it's ridiculous and I wouldn't recommend it, nor would I repurchase it. But I'm like down in here on this, so I'm gonna keep it because I like the formula well enough and I wouldn't mind finishing it, so I'm gonna hang on to it. I also have the Pacifica Dreamlit and Glow Concealer. This is in the shade 11. Another product that I think is good, but I would not recommend. The shade range for this is absolute garbage. There's literally 5 shades. 5. And this is the shade 11, which doesn't even match me right now. I have to be like dead winter to wear this, so I'm thinking probably like in January I'll be able to start wearing this concealer. I think it's a good concealer, very lightweight, has good coverage, but the shade range is just not it. But I am going to hang on to it. I also have this from Rare Beauty. It is, what do they even call it? The under eye brightener in the shade Light. So I know this like is not technically a concealer. It's an under eye brightener, which I was like, I don't really have a place for this. I'm going to declutter it. And as you can see, it is very like glowy, has more of a glow than the other two. But honestly, I got it for free from Skeepers. And I love the way that this metal tip feels under my eyes. So what I do is I just get a little bit of it and rub it under my eyes before I go in with my concealer sometimes when I just want like a tiny self-care moment before work. So again, not something I would recommend or repurchase, but because I have it, I'm going to continue to use it. This product. You guys, I did not buy this during the initial craze because it was just too good to be true, right? This is so hyped up. It's a Tower 28 Serum Concealer. I have the shade DTLA or 4. And everyone loves this so much that I was just like, I don't know. You know? Here's the shade. It's a great shade for me right now. Like, as you can see, it's very in between those two. Great shade. No complaints about the shade. It's a formula that I have beef with. One, it is medium coverage. I think at best, it's medium coverage. But also, it just does not maintain that coverage throughout the day. This literally by hour 5, 6, like has almost completely worn off my under eyes. Whether I set it with powder or I don't set it with powder, like this just is not long lasting at all. I've never had a concealer just like completely wear off my under eyes. It's absolutely crazy. Like, at first I was like, man, I feel like I'm starting to see my dark circles come through. But then I was like, oh, wow, I actually like barely have any concealer left on my under eyes. So this just does not jive with me. Maybe people that like something light coverage and they only wear makeup for a little bit. So they're like, oh, it's so good because I just wear it for 2 hours when I film and that's it. I don't know. But this was horrible, in my opinion. So I'm decluttering it, and I'm mad about it. Like, I got this with a Rouge reward from Sephora, so, like, I wouldn't have even been able to return it, which is just, like, frustrating. But I'm also glad that I did not pay for it because it fucking sucks. So, yeah, decluttering it. And because it sucks, I don't have a concealer right now in my shade because I just had those two. That was it. And I was like, oh my fucking God. So what I did was, instead of trying a new one, I just went with something I knew worked and I knew liked because I had like 3 weeks worth of shitty concealer. And man, there's nothing like 3 weeks of shitty concealer to put you in a bad mood. So I just went with a tried and true, and I got the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer in the shade 2N. I knew the shade would work great for me right now, and I'll swatch it in between here so you can kind of see those. It's a really good transition shade. So, and I guess I'll swatch next to the Tower 28 one if you're trying to see shade-wise where you would fall. This one is definitely more of like a pinky peach undertone. But I went with this because I was like, I know that it is full coverage. I know that it is long lasting. I know that the shade is good for me. And I know that it is like creases very minimally. So I just knew it would be good. So I picked it back up and is now in my collection. I've had it for like a week now. If you don't know, I have already finished one of these. So this is my second one. I really wanted to try the Kulfi Beauty one, but like I said, after a few weeks of really shitty concealer, I just was not in the mood to try another potential one that did not work for me. So I'm definitely keeping this, and that's how it got here. Okay. This is what my foundation collection looks like right now, which I am honestly very proud of. I have 8, but 3 of these are the same formulation that I was fortunate enough to get in PR. And then I recently just got this in PR, like literally 2 days ago. I've only tried it once. So, you know, other than that, this is what we have going on. I'll start with the one off the bat that I know I'm 120% keeping, and that is the Huda Beauty Easy Blur. I love this formula. It is so fracking good. So good. It literally it feels so lightweight on the skin and provides a full coverage beat. A little goes a long way, so this is going to last forever. It is long lasting, has a gorgeous like satiny finish, and is so blurring. It is fabulous. I'll put up swatches over here because I do have 3 shades, so if you're curious. This Custard 220N, this is like the tannest I will be summer shade. I was able to wear it for like probably like 2 or 3 weeks over the summer, and that was really it. But this will get used next summer, so I'm keeping it. The next shade is 210B. This was a great like transition from fall to winter. It's a bit too dark now, but this will get a lot of use in the spring and probably a lot of the summer because I don't really get tan until the end of summer. So great shade for me. And then the last one I have is Shortbread 200B. This is a great shade for me right now and will probably work the majority of the winter. If you don't know, the B stands for beige. And this undertone, if you typically shop for a neutral undertone, I would pick up the beige line because her neutral undertones just lean very yellow in my opinion, and the beige undertones like hold so much truer to neutral. So that would be my advice to you, but 120% love this formula and I'm definitely keeping it. Next up, like I said, I just got this. It's from Eborian. It's the CC Red Correct. And this is actually a like skin tint. So they had asked us to send this to me, and I was very intrigued because redness corrector, and I have a lot of redness. And when I first swatched it out, I was like, oh, it's green. And it's a tint, you say? I was like, oh, I'm going to be Shrek. And anyways, I'm going to just kind of show you guys what it does here. And I might have got too much for my fucking hand. But as you like work it and rub it into the skin, you see right there? How nice is that? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. The most gorgeous, perfected glow with a very light coverage. Don't look over there. I obviously didn't blend it in all the way, but right here. How beautiful. Beautiful. And I had compliments on how my skin looked at work, which is crazy because I was literally just wearing this. I didn't do anything over it. I will say I did not powder when I used it, and by the end of the day, I was looking much more glowy than I would prefer to. So I am going to try it with powder, but I have not tried it that way yet because like I said, I've used it once. I just got it. But I have very high hopes for this, especially if it plays well with powder. Then, oh my God. But yeah, it just really, it just did wonders for the redness and blemishes on my skin. It literally just like filtered them and gave me the most natural, like it looked like my skin, but without all the redness. It was gorgeous. I have very high hopes for this and I want to keep trying it, so I'm going to keep it. Next up is the Sephora Reveal the Real Soft Radiant Skin Tint. I'm decluttering this for, I would hope, obvious reasons. It's way too dark for me. The shade is 230N Medium. I grabbed this on Skeepers, and if you are on Skeepers, you know when stuff goes live over there, you know that you are like doing shit in a freaking frenzy, hurry, whatever. And I don't know, I was thinking like, okay, to something, and like usually shade ranges go like 100 for like the fair to start getting into light, and then 200 for light to medium. So I was like, okay, 230 and like that's probably a light to medium shade. It's clearly not, and I could not get these swatches to pull up. And so then once I was accepted to the campaign, I went back and looked, and I was like, oh, the shade's gonna be way too dark. So I messaged them and was like, I would like to cancel my order because I'm not gonna be able to make this shade work. They never responded, so they sent it to me, which means I had to do a review. So what I used it as a bronzer. I used it as a liquid bronzer, and it really worked great for that. I'll tell you that. I was kind of surprised, but it worked really great for a liquid bronzer. But I don't know. I'm just like not personally super into that step. Like that is the shade. It was a little yellow, but like I could make it work as a bronzer. but like I'm just not gonna do that. So I'm gonna declutter it and hopefully I can find it a new home. Next up is the Gucci foundation. This one is a 24-hour, it's a luminous matte finish. I have the shade 150, Fair 150C, which is just like a skosh light for me right now, but I think is going to be a really great winter shade. And I'm really excited to wear this more. It is definitely like very full coverage. Look at that. And I have worn it a couple times and I enjoyed it, but I'm excited to get to know it because I have not been able to get to know it. So I'm definitely going to hang on to it. Same goes for this Bobbi Brown, the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation. I have the shade N12 Porcelain, and I only wore this like a couple times, and the shade is just too light, but I'm hoping dead of winter that it's gonna be able to work for me. I got these both more like, I got that one like toward the end of summer, like the end of August, and this one was like before then, but it was like for free. So yeah, this shade, I'm hoping we'll be able to work it sometime in the winter. If it doesn't, then I will declutter it, but I'm really hoping it'll work for me because my friend has tried it and she absolutely loves it. So like, I really want to try it, but it's just the shade is not doing it right now, but I'm hanging on to it. Last two are the Clinique Even Better makeup. Oh my gosh, what am I even talking about? I'm getting so delirious. Okay, so try again. Next is the Clinique Even Better Makeup Broad Spectrum SPF 15 foundation, and this is the shade CN18 or Cream Whip. And I love this. This is such an unsung hero, I feel like. No one talks about this, but it was the diamond gift at Ulta, and it had really great reviews, like almost 5 stars. So I was like, I want to give this a go, and I'm glad I did because it is incredible. This is like a good summer shade for me, so unfortunately I can't wear it right now. And I would venture to say I'm like probably close to halfway finished with this. I wore it a lot. It is so beautiful on the skin. It gives like a very like satin finish, full coverage, not heavy, long wearing. That is like my favorite sweet spot, and this gives all those things. So I absolutely love this product and I'm keeping it. Last up is the Chanel Le Beige Revitalizing Foundation. I have the shade B10, and let me tell you what, I would love to declutter this, and I thought about it because I don't love it, but it was $80. $80. And yeah, I just think one, it's super overpriced, but two, I think it's also overhyped. This product is, I would say, medium coverage at best. I would say it's more of a light to medium finish. And you have to build it up quite a bit to get that medium finish. And I'm just personally more medium to full coverage. So this just doesn't really meet my coverage preferences. I think that the finish on the skin is like really beautiful, and I can see why a lot of people like it. It's just not giving full coverage like everyone was saying in the reviews and stuff. I was like, God, that's 120% not true. And I have to use like 4 to 5 pumps of this to get something I'm happy with, which is just an insane amount of product, especially when it's $80. Like, so it's like, I would love to declutter it, but also I think I'm about like halfway or maybe even more done, and I want to finish it just because it was so expensive. I would like to finish it. So what I've been doing actually is mixing it with the Easy Blur because that easily gives me the coverage. So I do like 2 pumps of this and then a little bit of this, and it looks great, and I can enjoy the way my base looks. So I will hang on to it because I want to finish it. It's going to be in my project pan if I don't finish it by the end of the year. So spoiler there. But I definitely would not ever recommend this to anybody. It's not all of that in a bag of potato chips, but I am going to keep it. So here's everything we're decluttering. I personally think we did pretty good overall. We have, let's see, well, for what I use things for, we have 1 SPF, 3 primers, 4 primers, 2 dewdrops, a foundation, a concealer, and 2 powders. So a total of 11 items. I think that that is great, and it leaves my collection feeling much more refreshed in those areas. Not to mention I should hopefully maybe by the end of the year have 2 empty setting sprays, but we'll see. But yeah, I really like how we left things here. If you have any of these products, I would love to hear your thoughts on them below, especially the ones I have like strong opinions on. Like if you're loving one of them or you also hate one of them, let me know. I'm very curious. I would love to chat about it in the comments. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.